In the first scene, we meet Richie, a millionaire, and his wife, Hunter. They are at a dinner party with other wealthy people. Richie's recent business successes, which have made his company a lot of money, are the reason for the party. His parents seem to be very happy with him. Richie and Hunter leave the dinner and go to their new, luxurious house in upstate New York. Hunter comes from a working-class background, but she now lives a life of luxury. However, she spends most of her days feeling bored and unsatisfied. She spends her time cooking, playing games on her phone, and drawing. In fact, she feels mentally stifled and alone because Richie is always far away from her and doesn't care about her. Hunter tries to start a talk with her husband at one dinner, but he is too busy texting about work to give her the attention she wants. Hunter finds out she's pregnant a few days after the dinner party. She tells her husband, who is very happy about the idea of starting a family. The couple decides to go out to dinner with Richie's parents to mark this important event. Hunter wants to tell a story from her childhood during the meal, but her father-in-law cuts her off and starts talking about business. Hunter feels sad, so she pulls into herself and starts looking at the sparkling ice cubes in her drink. As her mood gets worse, she grabs one of the cubes and bites down on it without thinking. This makes the other people at the table feel uncomfortable and awkward. The next day, Catherine, Hunter's mother-in-law, comes into her room and gives her a book about postpartum sadness. It helped her when she was pregnant, she says. Catherine also comments on Hunter's looks, saying that she would be more attractive with longer hair because Richie likes women with longer hair. Later, when Hunter is reading the same book, she comes across a line that makes her want to do something she hadn't planned. She grabs a small stone from her jewelry and eats it in a moment of wild recklessness. Surprisingly, she feels a lot better after this. Richie is surprised to find his wife happy when he gets home from work. He asks her why she's so happy, and she tells him she's proud of herself because she did something she didn't expect to. But when Richie asks him what it was, Hunter lies and says that it was just a choice to get blue curtains. The next morning, as Richie gets ready for work, he finds out that Hunter has ruined one of his silk ties. This makes him angry. Later that day, Hunter is able to get rid of the small stone she ate earlier. She picks it up from the washbasin without showing any disgust. Shortly after that, her mother-in-law calls her in for a talk, during which Catherine asks Hunter where he worked before he married Richie. Hunter says he has worked in retail, offering items in particular. When Catherine hears this, she says that Hunter is a very lucky woman because she got to marry Richie. She also questions whether Hunter is truly happy or simply putting on a show. Even though her face says otherwise, the second person claims that she is happy. Hunter is cleaning the house one day when she finds a thumbtack that looks good. She decides to eat it. Even though she was hesitant at first, Hunter put the thumbtack in her mouth and poked her tongue. She tries to fight the desire to swallow it, but finally succumbs to the impulse and ingests the object, feeling a sense of relief. In the evening of the same day, Richie comes home with some friends. Hunter plans to meet them at the pool, but the thumbtack pain gets worse all of a sudden, so she runs to the bathroom. She excretes the thumbtack, but the following fight leaves a lot of blood on the toilet seat. Hunter quickly cleans up the mess and leaves the bathroom before Richie can find out about it. At the pool, one of Richie's friends tells Hunter how happy he is for her that she is pregnant. But when he asks for a hug and says he's lonely, things take a strange turn. Hunter reluctantly agrees to the hug, but it becomes clear that she needed the hug more than he did. Hunter gets more and more interested in eating non-edible things she finds around her house, like metal figures, batteries, book pages, safety pins, and other things. It seems like the excitement of eating these things is very exciting for her, and she can't stop herself from doing it. One day, during her regular ultrasound visit, the sonogram assistant finds an abnormality in Hunter's belly. She is quickly taken in for emergency surgery, where the surgeon finds a plethora of inedible things that had been stuck in her stomach. After a full checkup, Hunter's doctor says he has pica, a mental disease that makes people want to eat things that aren't food. Richie is angry and confused when she gets home, and it's easy to see why. She wonders what could be wrong with her. Hunter says she doesn't know what's going on with her and has never heard of pica. Richie and his parents decide that Hunter should see a therapist in the city because they are worried about his wife's health. At first, they insisted on being there during her meetings, but when Alice asked the therapist to talk to Hunter alone, they left. During a private chat, Alice asks Hunter how it feels to swallow these things. Hunter tells her that she likes how the different textures feel in her mouth. Richie also hires a Syrian man named Louay to watch over his wife more closely while he is at work. This makes Hunter even more angry, which is a shame. Over the next few days, Hunter gets more and more annoyed when Louay tries to help her out in the kitchen. He starts to criticize her mental health problems and says that she wouldn't have those problems if she had been through what he did in Syria. Also, he checks her out before letting her use the bathroom. Even so, the obsessed Hunter still finds a way to eat things that aren't food as a way to feel better. The scene then changes to Richie's birthday party at their home, which is a very fancy affair. Hunter finds out at the party that everyone there knows about her trouble eating. She talks to Richie and asks him why he told everyone. He tells her that it's his special day and he doesn't want her to ruin it. Hunter feels hurt and upset by this. Later that night, when the couple is making love, Hunter stops suddenly and tells Richie to say sorry before they can go on. Hunter tells her next therapist about a very personal and scary event during her next session. She says that her real father did not raise her and that she has never met him. However, she keeps a picture of him. Hunter also says that she was born because a stranger forced her mother to have her. Hunter gets really interested in the dirt one day when he is in the yard, but he resists the urge to eat it. But while she is washing her hands, she hears her husband on the phone with her psychiatrist. Hunter figures out that Richie has paid the therapist to say what they talked about in therapy. Alice tells Hunter everything about her last session with him, including the case of her mother. This makes Hunter feel very scared. Richie starts crying as soon as she goes for work. A short time later, Louie goes into Hunter's room to check on her, but when she gets there, she finds Hunter hiding under the bed. When he feels bad, he goes over to her and pats her on the shoulder, giving her comfort and support during this hard time. Hunter wakes up in the middle of the night and sees Louie sleeping peacefully next to her. Her urge to eat lifeless things comes back, so she starts furiously looking through boxes. When she can't see anything, she quickly grabs a screwdriver and puts it in her mouth. But this turns out to be a bad idea because Hunter starts choking, waking up Louie from his sleep. He calls 911 and gets her to the hospital right away. Luckily, the doctors can take the thing she swallowed out of her body without hurting Hunter or the baby. After this scary experience, Richie and his parents force Hunter to sign papers that send her to a mental hospital for 7 months, until she gives birth to the baby. Hunter's husband threatens to leave her if she doesn't give in, which is a form of bullying. So, she has no choice but to agree, which makes Louie, who is watching from close by, feel sorry for her. The next day, Hunter packs up her things and gets ready to go to the mental hospital. But at the last minute, she says she forgot her charger and goes back to her room. Louie is surprised to see her inside and tells her to run through the woods. Hunter agrees, and once Louie is out of sight, she acts like she ran away. Hunter gets a ride to a hotel, and before she goes inside, she puts some dirt in her pocket. Later, she calls her husband and tells him that she only got pregnant to make him happy and that they moved too fast. Richie talks to her nicely and tries to persuade her to come back. When she says no, he starts to put her down and insult her, telling her she is useless and can't do anything well. Hunter breaks her cell phone after the call is over and spends the rest of the night by herself, watching TV and eating dirt. Hunter checks out of her hotel room the next day and calls her mom to ask if she can stay with her. Unfortunately, the second woman says no because her other daughter already lives with her. Hunter has nowhere to go, so she chooses to walk to the home of William Irwin, her real father. When she gets to his house, she finds that William is having a birthday party with his friends and family. Hunter gets close to him, but William thinks she is one of their daughter's friends' parents. Hunter makes it clear that she is not a mom and says the name of her mother. When William hears this, he knows right away that she is his long-lost daughter. When Hunter and William finally have a chance to talk alone, Hunter asks him why he used her mother, and William says that he felt strong when he did things like that. But after a few years in jail, he realized what he did wrong and feels bad about it. As William talks about how ashamed and guilty he is for his past acts, the conversation gets intense. Hunter asks him if he's ashamed of her and if she's like him. William denies these claims right away and tells Hunter that she is not related to him and is not to blame for what happened in the past. When Hunter's feelings get the best of her, William comforts her and tells her that she did nothing wrong and shouldn't feel guilty. Hunter is ready to move on with her life now that her talk with William helped her feel better. She makes the hard choice to have an abortion and goes to a clinic to get the medicine she needs for the process. Hunter takes the pills while having lunch in a food court, but she feels the effects of the abortion in a public toilet, alone with her thoughts, despite being in a busy place. Once the process is over, Hunter feels free and relieved. She knows that this choice was not easy, but it was the right one for her at this point in her life. Hunter decides to start over, putting the pain and stress of her past behind. She now has more freedom and a clear head.